Assalamu alaikum. Let's cook. People, we're going to talk about a sister by the name of Shirley Gibbs Russell. And this is a story here where some Mayo matrimony did not end well. First, I have to say condolences to the family of Shirley Gibbs Russell. Shirley Gibbs Russell was born on September 22nd, 1957. That made her 31 years of age when she disappeared in March 1989. Now, Shirley Gibbs Russell was a black woman, and she was a captain in the U.S. Marines. She was also considered a strong candidate for a promotion to major. Now, this is a position where there are very few black women in, black people, period, but especially a black woman. Now, something that's kind of odd to me about this Shirley Gibbs Russell situation, there's not much information about her, her past, her history, like where she came from, her high school, her college. Did she play sports? I mean, she was 5'11", none of that. Maybe you have it, but I do believe that Shirley Gibbs Russell is from South Carolina. I believe she is. I'm not sure. Okay, but they act like this woman was born in her late 20s on a Marine base and that's it. Not much about her past and her history, where she comes from and things like that. But Shirley Gibbs Russell, she was in the Marine Corps. She was stationed on Parris Island in South Carolina in '85 and Quantico, Virginia after that. Now, in 1985, she was stationed on Parris Island, South Carolina. When she was there, she met another Marine, a white guy by the name of Robert Peter Russell. Now, this guy, Robert Peter Russell, more information about this Mayo monster right here. He's from a place called Mahanoy City, Pennsylvania. Okay, I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name of his hometown right, but this is a small town in Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania, for people who know that area. He has at least one brother named Ronald, and his brother's from that area as well. They're all from this Pennsylvania area. His mother, she's from St. Clair, Pennsylvania, which is a nearby town. And we have a white man here. He's from Pennsylvania. These towns that he's from, are straight Crackervilles. I mean, these are sundown town Crackervilles. You could talk to anybody, especially at the time when he lived there. Okay, these are those places where even to this day, you better know your place. You know what I mean? You better be playing football and you better be good. And that's about it, when you black out in some of these towns. But these are these type places where he probably never even seen a black person coming up unless he played football and they were on an opposing team or something like that. But especially in his time, these were real Crackervilles. Zero black people. So time goes on. This guy, he goes to college, he does his thing, whatever, gets into the military. By the year 1985-86, this guy's already a captain in the Marines. He's stationed at Parris Island. He has 400 men under his command at this time. At this time, he also had a wife named Pamela Russell. He had children with Pamela Russell as well. And when he was on Parris Island around this time, 1985, this is where he actually met Shirley Gibbs Russell. This guy right here, he left his wife and children on Christmas Day. And his divorce to his wife at the time, Pamela, it became final in April of 1987. So I don't know when he struck up this friendship with Shirley Gibbs Russell when they met on the base. I'm sure she knew him around the time that he was married. Did they get all romantic? And I don't know. I don't know what was going on. I don't know what that story is, but he did leave his wife shortly after. Now, after that, this dude was transferred to Gulfport, Mississippi Naval Base. While he's at Gulfport, Mississippi, 2 months after he got there on that base, he marries Shirley Gibbs, the black woman here that we're speaking about. Okay, he marries her 2 months after he arrived on his base, not long after he got a divorce from his wife. In July of 1988, Shirley Gibbs received orders that she was transferring to Quantico in Virginia. Now, after Shirley transfers to Quantico in Virginia, her husband now, Robert, he went to Quantico as well, and he lived with Shirley in the married officers' quarters. Now, I don't know if Robert went to Quantico for duty as well, because remember, he's a captain. He's a captain in the Marines. She's a captain in the Marines. I don't know if they did a long distance thing and he was still stationed at the naval base in Gulfport or what. But whether he went back and forth or whatever, I don't know. But they lived together in Quantico, on the married officers' quarters, at the married officers' quarters. Now, 2 months later, in September of 1988, Robert was discharged from the Marines under other than honorable conditions. He's a sleazeball, people. So that's a year after he married Shirley. A year after he got married to her, he gets discharged from the Marines, other than honorable. What was this dude doing? He was doing everything. He was kicked out of the Marines for unauthorized absences, unauthorized use of government telephones, submitting fraudulent claims to the government. When they cleaned his desk out, they found a computer disk containing something that said recipe for murder, a file, drunk, all kinds of nut stuff. So the whole time that he was married to Shirley Gibbs Russell, he was on a downward spiral. He probably been on a downward spiral his whole disgusting life. But he gets put out of the Marines. So listen, Shirley Gibbs is only married to this Mayo monster here, Robert, for like 18 months. And the whole time that she's with him, he's doing all kinds of stuff. And you can see that because he got thrown out of the military dishonorably. You know what I mean? He's messing with multiple other women. Okay. He's having affairs with all kinds of women off base and other places. He's abusing her. Yeah, he's abusing her. A lot of verbal abuse. A lot of racial verbal abuse, okay? Shirley, she got help from a marriage counselor at least 8 different times during their short marriage. So she tried to make it work with this Mayo monster. She's with him less than 2 years, marriage counselor 8 different times. He's got a whole new girlfriend, all that. This guy is so disgusting that his own brother, right? His own brother testified him later on. We'll get into that. His new girlfriend that he's cheating with to jump off, her name is Sandy Flint. She even testified against him, okay? Now, there are also people who said that they seen this husband, Robert, pull out a gun on Shirley and threaten her. A Marine lieutenant, no reason to lie, they live right near them, say, yeah, I seen him pull out a gun on her and everything, man, threatened her. This is the kind of stuff she's putting up with this dude, and she's going to marriage counseling. He's making all kinds of racist remarks. He was very concerned about how he looked to other white people being with a black woman, and there are other people that can attest to this, the N-word, all that. He's doing all this stuff. He's going nuts on her since the marriage started. So when this sleazeball gets kicked out of the Marines, then he gets mad at Shirley because she's still in the Marines and has a thriving career. So he always resented that as well. Okay. So once he got kicked out, he went to a local school to become a special ed teacher. Imagine him, your teacher. Okay. He's a special ed teacher after he gets kicked out of the Marines. Now, eventually, Shirley can't take this abuse anymore. She decides to leave on February 28th, 1989. She moved out of the marital quarters with this dude. And after she moved out, Robert went and moved to his jump off girlfriend's house. Her name is Sandy Flint, who actually helped later on. Okay. This girlfriend. On March 3rd, Shirley, she finalized the marriage settlement agreement. March 3rd, 1989. Then she put down money on her own condo. She's out of here. The relationship is over. I guess she's feeling like she's free. But here's where it turns. They still had to go clean out their old marital quarters. They lived together, right? So they have to go, even though it's over, they got to go clean it out, repaint it, get it ready for the next person, all that, whatever rules the military has. So they go return to this residence where they lived before on March 4th, 1989 to go ahead and get it together and get it clean. That was the last day anybody seen Shirley. Okay. Now I was wondering, well, this dude got put out of the military. What is he even doing on a big, like dishonorable discharge? But I'm thinking, he must have still had access to the base and services because his wife is a captain. They were married You know what I mean? I'm like, how was he even, after he got put out, what is he still doing? Oh, that's his wife. They probably had some kind of agreement or whatever, you know. But people, the day that she went to go meet him to clean his house up and get it together for the next person to move in, that's the last day that Shirley was seen. That's March 4th, 1989. Now, around noon, there's a neighbor by the name of Rhonda McCumber. She said that she's seen Shirley outside the residence. And that was the last time around noon that somebody seen her. Around 1:20 p.m. that day, Shirley's friend, who was a Marine captain by the name of Patrice Gale, she came looking for Shirley because they were supposed to have a lunch appointment. So she went to the house. She knew what Shirley was doing. So she goes to the house like, where's Shirley at? Robert is there. Okay. And Robert told Patrice, the friend, that Shirley had walked to the Marine Corps Exchange. That's the store on base where you can go buy all kinds of things. It's like just think of like a Walmart or a Costco on a military base, people. Or they have other fast food joints. People in the military, you know, tell them in the comments or whatever. But he said that she went there to go buy paint. And this friend named Patrice Gale, she said it was kind of strange for Shirley to, number one, be missing any appointments. She don't miss appointments. And she also said it was cold outside, cold and rainy. And this dude, Robert, the husband, he was in there sweating heavily, hard. That same day, the afternoon, Robert leaves the state of Virginia. What he did was he went to his girlfriend's house where he was staying at, named Sandy Flint, took a shower. He called his parents in Pennsylvania. He asked them about the weather. And then shortly before 5 p.m., he borrowed his girlfriend Sandy's blue Mercury Tracer station wagon and drove to his parents' home in Pennsylvania. Now, around that same time, a neighbor saw that small blue station wagon backed up near the storage shed that was attached to Robert and Shirley's former quarters. Okay? Now, this is very important because that's when he pulled up to grab her body. You know what I mean? He already did what he was going to do, got rid of her. He's pulling up with the station wagon, boom, to grab her body to take her to Pennsylvania. So that night, the husband, Robert, he calls Shirley's sister. Shirley does have a sister named Dorothy Sagrin who lives in the Virginia Beach area, somewhere in Virginia, in that area, in the Virginia Beach area. Okay? That's why I believe that Shirley's from South Carolina, because her sister is from South Carolina. Now, he calls her up. He calls the sister Dorothy Sagrin up and asks whether she knew where Shirley was. He said that Shirley never returned after she went to go buy some paint. And during this conversation, the sister said he made a very strange comment. He said Shirley was really at peace with herself. So the sister said she became very uncomfortable, got off the phone, boom, ended the conversation. By Monday, March 6th, everybody realized that something is wrong. Shirley didn't report for duty. She didn't report for work. She missed an appointment with the Navy chaplain who's supposed to help her prepare her taxes. Very unusual for Shirley to miss anything, very disciplined and to the point. She didn't contact her commanding officers. She didn't contact any friends, family, her credit cards, checking account, savings account. That was not used again. This is why they reject the idea that Shirley just disappeared, because it's like, okay, if she just disappeared, she would at least go to the store, to the bank. She would use a bank card, something. None of that. You know what I mean? So this guy, Robert, right, the husband, the ex-husband, he returns back from Pennsylvania to Virginia. He gives his girlfriend, Sandy, her station wagon back Monday morning. And Sandy noticed that Robert had washed it, waxed it, vacuumed it, had deodorizer all inside. And she said that, listen, this guy, he borrowed my vehicle before, but he never returned it like this. You know what I mean? So that was different. That made him look suspicious. You know what I'm saying? That same morning, he asked Sandy's father-in-law, this is his girlfriend's father-in-law, so she must be going through a divorce or something like that also, but he knows the father-in-law because the father-in-law had previously worked as a painter at Quantico. A lot of people in the area, they work on the base, you know what I mean? So we asked this man, how do you remove blood stains from concrete? which is odd. And the man told him, you use something called muriatic acid to remove blood from concrete. So investigators are getting clues and they're looking at this whole situation like it's foul play. You know, the timeline just ain't looking right. She was last seen with him. He claimed that she walked several miles in the cold rain to buy paint. She left her money and possessions behind, had plans at a new condo. This dude drives to Pennsylvania. He returns the girlfriend's car super clean. He asked her how to remove blood from concrete. Shirley was never seen or heard from again. So this investigation now turns massive. You have the FBI, the Naval Investigative Service, or the NIS. You have other law enforcement agencies involved. They searched Quantico extensively. They followed Robert's route to Pennsylvania. They did ground searches, aerial searches. They searched abandoned Pennsylvania mine shafts. They believed that Robert may have disposed of Shirley's body there. Pennsylvania, perfect place, right? But nobody was ever found. Then Robert leaves Virginia. Not long after this, again, he leaves Virginia. He left his teaching job at North Stafford High School. He returned to Pennsylvania. But this investigation continued. While he's in Pennsylvania, he's working as a corrections officer. Now, they're finding more and more things, more damaging evidence. They found something that Robert had, which was alleged threats against Shirley in a computer file, which was called 26-Step Murder Plan. With all this evidence, Robert was not arrested immediately because remember, they don't have a body, They don't have a body. Finally, Robert was arrested for the murder of Shirley on February 8th, 1991, almost 2 years after he did all this. Investigators said that they have no doubt that Robert did this. Finally, this guy, Robert Russell, he went on trial April 1991 in federal court in Alexandria, Virginia. He was charged with first-degree murder of his wife, Shirley Gibbs Russell. The prosecution had a major problem. They don't have a body. That's the problem. Shirley's body was never found, and Robert's team was going off and like, boom, y'all don't got no evidence. What are you talking about? Robert ain't admitting nothing. There was no murder weapon, no eyewitnesses, nothing. Physical evidence, very little. The prosecutor's case here is based off of circumstantial evidence. They don't have a body. But they presented evidence that Robert had threatened Shirley before she disappeared, that he went and purchased a .25 handgun 2 days before she vanished, and he also drove to Pennsylvania the night she disappeared. His girlfriend, Sandy Flint, she took the stand. She testified that Robert had previously talked about killing Shirley. Okay? They also talked about the 26-step murder document. This guy's brother even took the stand and said that he was going to blow Shirley up with a grenade. His own brother. This is how much of a sleazeball this dude is. But his defense argued that, listen, Shirley's still alive. She went somewhere and she's living her new life. She got burned out by the military. If she's not alive, where she's at then? We don't know. Y'all don't have a body though. So how you going to say I murdered somebody when, you know what I mean? You don't have a body. She probably just left. This is what Robert is saying. Of course, we know he did something. You know what I mean? So the jury, initially, they struggled with this case. It was deadlocked. They deliberated for 16 hours. They finally reached a verdict. On May 3rd, 1991, Robert Russell was found guilty of first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in federal prison without the possibility of parole. His conviction was upheld. In 1992, he tried to appeal it. Shirley Gibbs' body has never been found, and Robert is still alive today. Yet he still has not said anything about what he did with her body, but we know he took her out Pennsylvania somewhere in his own backyard and did whatever he wanted to do. Terrible story here. Condolences to the family of Shirley Gibbs. Again, I know that she has at least a sister out there. People, this story is really messed up and is an example of how dangerous it could be when a black person or black people have an inferiority complex. It's a very, very dangerous thing. You know what I mean? Because black people with inferiority complexes attract the lowest, most nasty, violent, evil white people. It's like a magnet, yo. You ever see that? White people on the surface who are just straight evil are very attracted to black people who, don't see race, happy. I don't see color. I'm not picking a side. I treat everybody the same. This, and that. I'm not saying Shirley was saying these things, but we know that Shirley has some issues. You know what I mean? Just based off of this guy. Like when this stuff happens, people, we don't even have to know the black person. All we got to know is white peopling. That's it. So it's like when you hear stuff, you know, oh, well, this person, I don't even need to know the black person. I know how white people get down. You know what I'm saying? When you hear about this dude right here, you know it had to be something wrong with her as far as an inferiority complex and just loving whiteness. You know what I mean? There's no way that this black woman should have even liked this guy as a friend, let alone married him. It ain't like she needed him to move up. She was a captain in the Marines as well. This is a male monster here from a sundown town, Pennsylvania. Military guy, another red flag. Nasty, nobody likes him. His own brother testified against him, ex-wife, his girlfriend. You know, he showed this woman right here, this black woman, that he was nothing other than a male monster, knuckle-dragging beast. Yet she tried to go to counseling with this nasty monster numerous times. I bet this dude never showed her one time that he was halfway decent. But it's dangerous, people. I'm telling you, Caucasian European hypnosis is a dangerous state for a black person to be in because you never know what they're going to do. You know what I mean? This may be a great person, nice, disciplined, educated, all that, gifted. You bring white people in the equation, they turn into a blind mouse, box of rocks type. It's like it all goes away. And you got to watch. I'm talking about you, us, you listening, us. You got to watch these people because they'll get you hurt. They'll hurt you. They won't intentionally do it to you, but they don't even know what they're doing. They'll put you in a situation where you get all hurt up. So you got to watch these people, even if it's your own, you know, relative, brother, sister, spouse, friends, whatever. You got to watch people who are under that Caucasian European hypnosis spell. Very dangerous people. Okay? They don't even know it though. They're not in their right mind. Anyway, people, get in the comments. Let me know what you know about this story. Link in the description to the masterpiece. The N-word is no secret in the service. Also, link for the email list. Go ahead and holler at that just in case YouTube start YouTubing. Easy.